So every year, thousands of couples apply for a UK marriage visa. And every year, many of them get rejected. That happens even when they do everything right. It doesn't really make any sense. And I know it feels deeply unfair. But here's the thing that most people don't realize. Visa rejections aren't just about missing documents. They're about invisible traps, which you don't get any warning about. I'll show you the 3 biggest mistakes that I personally made when applying for my own partner's spousal visa. And I'll show you how you can avoid them before it's too late. These mistakes didn't just cost me money or time. They nearly cost me my future together with the person I love. My name is James from Together Again, and this is your guide to getting it right. The first mistake I made was submitting my application without triple checking everything. When I first applied, I thought I was doing everything right. I had a checklist. I uploaded all the documents, and I pressed submit. And then I waited, and I waited some more, and started worrying. And the worrying turned into fear, and weeks passed. Eventually, we got asked for more information. And the reason? A single date was mismatched between 2 documents. Basically, that one error cost us more delays and more stress. I personally felt like I had failed, and I had let my partner down. If I could go back again, I wouldn't just look over the application. I would go through it again and again, like I was the visa officer. Line by line, name by name, date by date. Then, I'd get somebody else, a friend, or somebody you trust to do the same. Because one small detail and one small mistake can put your entire future on hold. Most people assume that following a checklist is enough. And the checklist that's provided is quite good, but it doesn't catch errors. It doesn't tell you if your documents contradict each other. That's why I'm supporting couples who are going through this process. And that's why I built the Marriage Visa Readiness Quiz and an upcoming guidebook. These tools check for these hidden problems, the ones that you don't see until it's too late. Sometimes, I know, we skip that extra review because we're just exhausted with it all and we won't want it to be over. I know the feeling. I think I took about 6 weeks doing my very first application. Using spare time, gathering papers, filling forms, maybe even getting a bit emotional. And you just want to be done and over with it all. But when you're most exhausted, that's when the mistakes happen. And not everyone will be lucky like me and just get a request for clarification. Nowadays, it's more likely to be a straightforward no and redo your application. Now I check everything. I check all the details, like it's life or death. Because for your relationship, it kind of is. The second mistake that I made was assuming that the financial requirement is simple. Back then, I thought, look, we both got money. My partner had an income. I was self-employed. We had savings. But that's not the only thing you have to prove. And it doesn't matter if you think you're financially responsible. Your paperwork also has to prove it. And not just vaguely. It has to line up in a specific format, following specific rules. To be honest, I kind of skipped over a lot of that detail. So when we got a request for more information about our financial details, I panicked. At that stage, we were running out of time, and it made me feel like the system didn't believe in us. Now, I treat the financial requirement like a contract or a mortgage application. It's not a guess. If you're using savings instead of income, the rules are even stricter. More documents, specific calculations, and if your partner or you are self-employed, things get even harder. That's why I added financial checks to the quiz below, so you can know today if your situation meets the rules, or if you're missing something that could lead to rejection. The next mistake that I made was trusting bad advice and listening to rumors. When I started this process for the first time, I talked to a lot of people and I read everything I could online. I followed Facebook groups, Reddit forums, YouTube comments, and I saw advice like, "You don't need a tenancy agreement." So I followed it. And again, I got a request for more information. And when the letter came asking for more documents, I realized I had trusted the wrong people. And at that point, I decided, no more guesswork, no more rumors. I'm just going to follow what the official guidelines say and not some random person on the internet. Now, I'm helping other couples do the same. Maybe you also hear similar things. That so-and-so got approved without this document. Or that they don't really check for that, so you don't need to worry about it. But what worked for somebody else, or what supposedly worked for somebody else, might fail for you. And a stranger's advice isn't worth your future. Sometimes we believe bad advice because we want the process to be easier. We want to believe it's not that strict. But it is. It's strict, it's complex, and those tiny shortcuts can destroy everything. So, here's what I would never do again. I would never submit an application without checking every single detail. I would never assume the financial rules are simple. And I would never trust advice unless it's verified. Instead, I'd start by looking at my marriage visa readiness quiz below and looking out for my upcoming guidebook. These tools will check your documents and show you your risks before you apply. Because the most painful lesson I learned is this. Most couples don't fail because their love isn't real. They fail because they didn't know how strict the system is. What happens next? Even if your visa gets approved, there's a whole world of new problems that no one prepares you for. The surprise costs. That's what I cover in my video, Hidden Costs of a UK Marriage Visa. Trust me, most couples never see this part coming. So, if you think the hard part ends at approval, click on that video, check it out, because the next chapter might matter even more. Let's make sure you're ready and you stay together for all of this process.